3 3/4 laps of the track now, the 1500 meters semi-final. And what a lineup it is. 12 runners come to the start line, and they really are strong. Busse there from East Germany, Nemeth of Austria, Becker of West Germany, Omar of Ireland, and Mai of Italy, Saido Awita of Morocco, Kubista of Czechoslovakia, and it's Kubista, in fact, all in white, that goes ahead of Said Awita, and it's Mai of Italy in the blue, followed by the East German Andreas Busse. Those four at the moment looking the strong. 7.60. Jan Kubista, 6'4" tall, very tall for a 1500 meter runner, and it's only the first four plus the four fastest losers that make what looks to be one of the strongest finals of these World Championships. The man with the red band on his chest coming through is the West German Uwe Becker, and moving up on the outside is the Austrian Robert Nemeth, an Austrian, tall with a white top, wearing 41. Still, though, the Czechoslovakian leads, now from the East German, Andreas Busse, all in blue. The Italian Mai is dropping back as the Austrian Nemeth takes up the lead, and the West German Uwe Becker drops back, and so too does this man Said Awita. Look out for him, 5'49". He's got a green top and red shorts, the find of the season. Not only the North African champion, but the fastest man in the world this year over 1500 meters at 3:32.54. And he's also got very good 800 meter time of 1:44.38. So he's got blistering finishing speed, and there he is, tucked about 6th place. And the man coming up from the outside is the brilliant American Steve Scott, wearing 918, all in red. A very fast finisher, 6 times American champion, Californian board. Now resides in Tempe, Arizona, with his wife Kim and his son Kerry, and he's set 5 American records outdoors between 1500 meters and 3000 meters. Honed himself for this World Championship, running fewer races on the continent, so look out for Steve Scott, who's running about 5th at the moment. The two men in blue, East Germany and Italy, Andreas Busse and Stefano Mai. Then the Czechoslovakian, who's dropping back, and Graham Williamson, the tall Scot for Great Britain, coming up into the reckoning. Graham Williamson running on the shoulder of Busse. Graham Williamson, who's had a brilliant junior career, but has been a little injured leading up to these championships. Now Said Awita around the outside and on the shoulder of the American Steve Scott, and indeed prepared to take up some of the running. Said Awita, and they take the bell. 400 meters to go, and there's still a lot of boxing and coxing. One of the Spaniards coming through, looking good, and there's still, that was Gonzalez of Spain, who beat Sebastian Coe in Paris early this year. Busse runs for the line. Said Awita goes. There's 300 meters to go. Steve Scott finding himself in a good position, and Graham Williamson lost for pace and drops back. The West German Uwe Becker goes forward, and it really is a tight race for that 4th place. The Czechoslovakian Kubista coming into it. The Spaniard Gonzalez is finding it hard to finish. Said Awita of Morocco with Steve Scott of America, and they're that comfortable they're looking over their shoulder to see who else will be joining that final with them. It's East and West Germany in battle together. Andreas Busse, and he's being overtaken on the line by Jan Kubista, but I think those first 5 will make it. That means that the West German Uwe Becker will go as well to that final. 3:36.44 the finishing time. Scott, Awita, Kubista, Becker and Busse, I'm sure, will make it. Gonzalez will have to wait to see, the Spaniard. Now the second great semi-final, which really looks like an Olympic final. When you realize that Steve Ovett is there, the Olympic 800-meter champion. Steve Cram is there, the reigning European champion. Abascal of Spain is there. John Walker, the former Olympic champion at 1500 meters. Tom Byers, the good front-running American, is there. Sidney Marie, the South African-born but now American citizen. There's a little bit of barging. Steve Ovett sorts himself out a little bit of a place. Zdravkovic of Yugoslavia is up, and suddenly Tom Byers, who's a brilliant front runner for USA, has gone off into a very big lead. Tom Byers, who was 2nd in the United States Championship, and back in '81 had the pleasure and privilege of beating Steve Ovett in Oslo at 1,500 metres. Now for Ireland, it's Ray Flynn, who runs in America and runs very strongly indeed. The tall pole is Kurek, who's getting tucked in, and Tom Byers leads away. Steve Ovett nicely positioned in about third place and running wide, and the other great favourite, Steve Cram, who is both the European and Commonwealth champion. The tall figure is one from the back, but slowly moving through. Mike Boyd of Kenya halfway down the field as Tom Byers still cuts out the pace. Tremendous standard in this 1,500 metres. Remember the time of the first semi-final, 3:36.44. Remember too that only 4 go through by right, and the 4 fastest loses from the 2 semi-finals. So Byers, from the Irishman there, who's looking good, Ray Flynn, running a little wide of him, the Italian Patrick Nani in blue, and Cram begins to move up. This very tall youngster, still only 22, Steve Cram, goes on the shoulder of his guide and mentor, Steve Ovett of Great Britain. 2 very good British athletes in this, an event which they have dominated, Great Britain that is, for the last 4 or 5 years. Sebastian Coe out of these championships, but what a lot of talent they've got apart from him. Ovett cutting himself loose from the pack, running on the shoulder of Patrick Nani of Italy, the Italian champion. Tom Byers is overtaken by Mike Boyd, now 34, a brilliant career behind him, has had to miss the last Olympic Games, the last 2 Olympic Games in fact. Boyd goes clear, and Cram comes wide on his shoulder, and Cram settles on the shoulder of the Kenyan. Ray Flynn is in third, and Steve Ovett is nicely poised as well as they come up to receive the bell this time. Abascal of Spain is on Ovett's shoulder, and the big dark-clad New Zealander John Walker is back in about 5th place. There he is with the flash of New Zealand on his shoulder. And Sidney Marie has made no challenge, and he's right at the back of the field with the pole there. That's a disappointment for the brilliant American-South African Sidney Marie. Away goes Mike Boyd, and Cram, even taller, goes away as well. Abascal is there, and Steve Ovett looking for Walker over his shoulder, and then the Irishman Ray Flynn. A battle, remember, for first 4 places to be there by right. And suddenly Steve Cram has cut loose and has left the Kenyan groping for speed, and Abascal goes with him, and Ovett runs wide and takes Walker with him, and this is going to be a battle for the line. It really is. Steve Cram running away, Abascal and Steve Ovett in second, and that's going to be a fight as DeLees comes up and joins them in 4th, and John Walker of New Zealand in 5th. 3:35.77. That's faster than the first heat. The first 4 will certainly make it, and I'm certain that John Walker of New Zealand will go through as well. Great Britain proud to have 2 in that final. The 100 metres hurdles final for women. The favourite in lane 1, Benita Yarn. There she is wearing 208. Shirley Strong of Great Britain in 2. Fitzgerald of the United States in 3. Kanaba, another favourite from East Germany in 4. Bisarova of the Soviet Union in 5. Zagorcheva of Bulgaria in 6. Reifstahl of East Germany in 7. Petrova of the Soviet Union in 8. And look at the girl in lane 1 streaking away. That's Benita Yarn. She's going away from the other East German girl, Kerstin Kanaba. Coming up is the challenge from Zagorcheva of Bulgaria, with the Soviet girl in 4th place. So the European indoor champion runs faster than the world record, 12.35 to 12.36, but when she looks at the wind speed gain, she finds that the wind is too strong for that world record to count. Just outside the allowed